Gilbert, it is time for Certified Compas.
Certified. Is that a good thing to do after you say it? Certified.
Yeah,
all right,
definitely. Cool. Gilbert, the Fast and the Furious is about to release their 10th movie this weekend or this Thursday. Well, Friday, but it's Thursday.
For you, Thursday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I already have my tickets. It's funny. So it's hard for me to go to the theater with Daniel, Melissa, and little Daniel because they like talking during movies. I can't stand talking during movies. So I'm only taking Daniel with me. The other two, I'm going to probably take them over the weekend, but I need to experience this movie. Let me just inhale it, visualize it, see it, and then we can discuss it. But I'm definitely excited for it. I hope it. Fast and Furious 9 was good, but you could tell that John Cena and some stuff was held back a little bit. I'm hoping this movie they kind of let it loose a little bit more. And it's not Justin Lin isn't directing it, so that kind of worries me a little bit. But I don't know. I'm hoping this movie's a lot better than F9 was. But definitely there's been a lot with this movie. A lot of obviously the trend of when the franchise obviously it does leave reality. There are some weird stuff that happens in it, but you still want to continue watching it from 2001 when they started to now. I mean, I think the franchise has only grown and it's gotten bigger, but I don't know what you think. I mean, have you kept up with it, or are you kind of like up and down with it?
Yeah, it's funny because we're trying to do this certified compas to kind of talk about the culture and just tie in everything that we like, sports, pop culture, stuff like that, and then I think we started thinking about it. I was like, man, actually, like Fast and the Furious has been around since 2001, whatever it is, like for a long time. Like it's really like engraved in the culture, especially like you think about it, like Dominic Toretto, like wearing the wife beater or the little
yeah
with the chain. I'm like, okay, we all have an uncle that wears that and he's drinking Corona. So like there is a lot of like Latino culture in it. But the reason why I want to discuss it before we kind of get into the more different sides of the franchise. I saw a good thing that made me think of you. That sounded weird, but I think about you often, Fernando. A little trendy conversation starter when they asked people, hey, when did Fast and the Furious franchise like leave reality for you, where you're kind of like what are we doing here? This is dumb. You kind of throw your hands in the air and you try to figure out, okay, where was that point where like, okay, that was super dumb for me? And I feel like for you, Fernando, you'd be the perfect person because you love most things about the franchise, but you just kind of gave a meta review for F9. So I want to ask you that real quick, but let me give you mine because I don't really have one, and I'll put it this way. You're going to hate me after I say this, but it got to a point where I really was enjoying the Fast and the Furious franchise. Like, I think the first three, like I really liked. The first one was by far the first one. The first one's the best by far. It just kind of set the tone. It's street racing, things you haven't seen in a minute. But you always heard about street racing. You kind of got like, I feel like the real side of it. I don't know if it's real or not, but we like to think. And then like Tokyo Drift was pretty cool. And there was a couple of that. I think maybe I want to say around.
By the way, when you're ever driving, do you ever press a button on your
the knob,
and you you think it's like you're like I've always done that ever since I started driving. I always I'm like hit the knob,
kind of get backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think after like 4, I want to say 5, 6, and 7, or maybe 5 and 6. I forget what it was.
8 was the one where they kind of after Paul Walker passed away.
Well, the thing for me is like I gave up on it. Like I don't remember the point when I was okay, that's enough for me. You know what it was? I thought it was okay after 3. Like I have like a rule after 3 or 4 movies, it's dumb. You're reaching no way you could top the first 2 or 1, and I gave up on it. And every time a release movie would come out, you start kind of feeling left out. Like okay, like why are people still fascinated with this franchise? Like it's kind of like all the Halloween movies. Like after a while, it's like get over it. Nobody cares. But people keep caring and keep caring. And then when I finally got back into it, was after the whole Paul Walker, I guess RIP to him, and then you start seeing scenes where they're fighting in space. Ludacris and Tyrese are entering space. So I kind of missed the whole where everything changed. I honestly, I don't think I've seen 4 or 5 or 6. I don't remember, to be honest. I got to go back.
5 is the one where they introduced The Rock.
Okay, I don't think I saw that one. So
okay, so that's the one in Brazil. I think that's what gave the franchise its juice back. Because I think it had kind of fallen off. The Rock kind of gave it its juice back, and it kind of jumped back up. But then, like, I'm going to be completely honest, and I don't remember who I told this, though. I thought when Paul Walker passed away, they should have stopped. The thing is, it's such a cash cow that you just heard. They said they were going to end it with Fast 11, and that was going to be it. But now Vin Diesel just came out and said, no, it's a 3-part series finale. They're going to make 2 more movies after this one, and that's where they're supposedly going to end it. But
13.
it's a cash cow. Watch. Guardian supposedly didn't do that well this weekend in the movies, but I think it's because of Mother's Day. I think that's why it didn't do so well. I think the Fast and Furious movie is gonna like blow the box office away just because it usually does that. Why? People want to see ridiculous. That's why when people are like, "Oh, they do all this ridiculous stuff," people like that stuff. Like when in number 9 where he goes off with the chain and he hangs off with the car off the ledge. I'm like, holy crap! Like it kind of makes you think, like, what are they gonna think of next? Like, even though it's ridiculous, it's dumb, it's this, it's that. It's still fun to watch because it's like, okay, how are they gonna do it? What kind of like in the 9th movie, and if you haven't watched it, it's your fault. They literally crash a freaking car into a satellite in space, and that's how they like blow up, and that's how they stop like the world from ending. And it's like, dude, it's like ridiculous dumb stuff, but it's like people want to go see ridiculous dumb stuff, and I think the Fast and the Furious is one of those movies where you can go to the movie theater, forget all about reality, and just sit there and enjoy. Like, there's no, like, in a sense, and I'm being completely honest, there's no political talk in it. There's no this, there's no that. It's just them going, doing their thing, doing ridiculous stunts, doing ridiculous stuff. And I think people enjoy doing that. They just go sit there and they get a BS for 2 hours. And it's like you're oohing and awing because you're like, wow, this is just dumb. But I think people enjoy sometimes like why do people go watch Jackass? Because they want to go see people get hit in the nuts. Like, it's the same thing with the Fast and Furious. People just want to go see dumb, ridiculous stunts, and I feel like that's why it's been so successful. And I feel like these last 3 movies are going to be even more successful. But yes, if you ask me, it should have stopped when Paul Walker passed away. I thought that would have been the best thing for him, but I mean they've continued with it, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I thought The Rock revitalized it. And I felt like when Paul Walker passed away, they should have kind of stopped with it, but they've continued with it. So it's been interesting. I mean, the 8 and 9 have just been 8 and 9 were all right, but it just without Paul Walker, it's kind of felt like it's kind of taking a hit because it was Dom Toretto and Brian O'Connor against everybody, getting the team together, doing this, and these last 2 movies you just haven't had Brian O'Connor, and it's like, well, like, what the hell? Like, it's felt different. I completely admit that it's felt completely different without him in it.
Yeah, I think for me is like I accepted when I came back to the franchise that it's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be pretty much action stunt scenes, and once you kind of come to grips, like, okay, it's gonna be a chaos of action, but you do kind of have that feeling of missing the street racing, the nostalgia. For me, because I grew up in LA, I like the whole where they lived, and you see the background of the buildings, and you see all the culture, and hanging out with the Cholo Hector or hanging out with the bike gang.
Remember that one?
Yeah, so a bunch of. I
don't know you remember that, but you don't remember that Mia's Dom Toretto's sister. That's hilarious.
I don't know her name, but is she alive? I forget.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
So now because Paul Walker's not in it, it's Mia the one fighting with the family, like her fist fight, like she's the one now fighting. And see, that's another thing. And Dan Dago pointed that out in the last movie. He's like, I'm so sure that Paul Walker would Brian would let his wife go out and fist fight and potentially risk getting killed, and him take care of the 2 kids. Like, that would never happen. Which is, they've messed up some of these things, but I mean, I think they kind of think, oh, well, people already know that Paul Walker died, so there's no way of being able to use them.
I think I was thinking about Letty. Letty's the one that supposedly passed away, and he ended up getting another girl in Brazil. So,
that's who she is, right? She's a Thor's wife in real life.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You learned.
Patty alert!
And I remember everybody had a crush on speaking of baddies on Letty. Was it Michelle Rodriguez, right?
No, hell
people
no.
Did. People did.
I know she dated Zac Efron for a little bit, but I've never.
How do you know this stuff? I had no idea.
Oh, because he went to one of the premieres with her like a couple of years back, but I've never found her attractive. Okay. One of the ones that I thought was ridiculous, and I just watched Fast and Furious 6 when they bring down the plane and they're trying to get on the plane. There's like a run, like the runway is just complete. Like they're fighting for 30 minutes and the plane's still on the runway. And I'm like, how? Like, it's just ridiculous, dumb stuff. But that's the thing. Sometimes the human brain just wants dumb stuff to entertain themselves with, and I feel like that's why people turn to this franchise. But watch this weekend, this movie's gonna make a lot of money.
You know what's another speaking of characters, you know how I asked an engagement question of the week? The two characters I really liked because of the
Ooh,
hits the hit song Bandoleros with Don Omar and was it
oh
Tego
my
Calderon?
god, dude.
They're in the movie, right? I just remember that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forget
yeah. No, no,
yeah.
yeah, they're hilarious.
And I can still hear the guitar like and then the music.
Yo soy
But
bandolero.
there you go. So that is stuff like that, man. I love the franchise for like that kind of thing, the early days. But like, can we just have the last movie, whatever, Fast 13, be back in LA and just going underground and just street racing and just doing whatever you want to do with the Nas and drifting? Can we do that for once to leave?
Well, they did. Well, I mean, they kind of did. They did kind of do that.
Which is like dumb like this.
Well, I mean, they did come back
Brazil.
to LA in number 7. They did come back in number 7 and do that. So, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I don't know. I understand where you're coming from. Like, obviously, LA is a big point of it because they grew up in LA and they come back to LA. But like, I feel like what they try to do is use the rest of the world as like kind of like, oh, we can do this in Brazil, we can do this here, we can do this there. Like, they do it all over the place, and it's definitely
Trivia question: can you name all the locations they have featured in the franchise?
Oh, shit. Okay, LA, Brazil, Mexico, Rome, Spain, Tokyo, England. Oh, am I missing anything?
Didn't they go to the Middle East?
Oh, Dubai. Yeah, Dubai. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, suppose there's one more, according to Victor.
Not China, not Australia, not Thailand, nothing Asian, I don't think.
Is it? I think
Oh no,
Latino?
Tokyo, Japan. But shoot, there's one more. Yeah, there is one more. What movie was it in? Let me get that tip.
Is it in the Caribbeans? I think it is.
Oh yeah. They did. Oh, Cuba. Boom, Cuba. Yeah. Dom has a cousin out in Cuba who he races for or whatever. But
Well,
but I mean, to me, like, and I'm telling you, like, you're completely right. Like, I love this. And here we go. Here's my copyright of the week. I don't care, but like this to me is hilarious. Like, these two guys are comedy. I don't know if you remember this one, Gilbert.
which one is this one? Which movie?
Porque se te fue la mano de nuevo.
Perfume de gardenia, papi. No cagas, güey.
De seguro, es una de esas teorías budistas pendejas que tú aprendiste en un libro de la cárcel. Y de seguro eso que estás haciendo en la pared también lo aprendiste en un libro de esos que leíste en la cárcel, ¿verdad que
It's
sí?
so negative, bro.
It's so negative.
There's a scene in Fast and Furious 5, if you haven't watched it, Gilbert. The dude with the dreads, I can't remember his name. What's his name in real life?
The dreads are Tego Calderon.
Yeah. So he's cooking, and Don Omar's like, he's like, I'm cooking like my mama, and then he's like, tu mamá la peor cocinera que conozco. He's like, don't you be talking about my mama. So it's a funny. See, yeah, and you're right. I mean, Dom loves Corona, so it's like one of those things where I feel like that a lot of I don't even want to say a lot of Mexican people are completely attracted to this franchise, Latinos, because you see a lot of different people in it. So people are attracted to this franchise and they love
the whole
it.
Family stuff, like you're in the backyard, like like stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, no, people love it. So yeah, so the franchise is going to be loved for I think years to come.